What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Frontline Film Podcast. Thank you guys for watching last week, listening, whatever you did, and hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna keep these coming out hopefully every week. Um, so yeah, we got some cool things we're gonna cover today. We're gonna cover some movie news, some trailers and stuff that came out. We're also gonna react to some of the Golden Globes. I know we both watched them last week. It's been a week, but still kind of wanted to talk about them with you. And then we're going to do the most anticipated review of the year, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Um, so yeah, got a good episode lined up today. Like the video, comment what you want to see us talk about. Um, Give us a follow. All of our stuff will be in the description. Um, yeah, so let's just jump right into it. I know first of all we wanted to talk about some of the Golden Globes. We don't have to like dive too deep into everything, but um, it looks like for some reason like the big winner of the night was, or the two big winners of the night were Emilia Perez and The Brutalist. Um, I think Adrian Brody won Best Actor for The Brutalist. It won like Best Director, and then it won Best Motion Picture Drama. And then Amelia Perez had several winners as well. Zoe Saldana won like Best Supporting Actress, and it won Best Musical slash Comedy. I don't really know what to think much about that. I've heard that movie sucks, and I've heard a lot of people really don't like it. And then opposite with The Brutalist, I've heard it's fantastic, and I still really want to see it. And shout out our boy Adrian Brody. He's a legend.
Yeah, it really is. Adrian Brody is awesome. I've heard only good things about the Brutalist as a whole. I saw a tweet today that said "now seated," and it was a GIF of the Brutalist, or it was a poster or something. And he said after the movie, and obviously it was like 4 hours later when he tweeted the next time. But he goes, "This is why we make movies." So me and you definitely need to find a chance to go watch that somehow. But yeah, to your point about Amelia Perez, I will say that, and I'm not gonna like obviously bring politics into it, but I do know that the Spanish Latin community, that they saw Amelia Perez win, and they were kind of upset about it, not because Amelia Perez won, but because of the director is French, I believe, and didn't like look up
Their
enough or
culture.
like research enough about the culture. So there were some things that were issues in
Yeah.
the movie.
That's what I heard
Obviously,
too. Like a lot of the Latin community didn't even really like it.
yeah, and there's like literally people in that community that are saying like, I hope it's not nominated for Oscars, which I think it is. Like now that we look at it,
Not necessarily, but it could be. It probably will be.
it probably will be because
But the
but
Golden Globe winners aren't always the Oscar
yeah,
winner.
yeah, but I mean, a lot of people were saying that they don't want it to be Oscar nominated, which I mean, kind of tells you to the point of how good or bad the movie is. I mean, dude, like, you and I haven't seen it, so I guess we're not. There's not a dog in that race for us. But I just when you see tweets like that, and I've seen clips of it, and it looks not so great. You kind of
Yeah.
wonder how it won, especially in comedy or musical. When you look at the other movies
Wicked,
in there,
Challengers.
Challengers, The Substance, Wicked, Anora, A Real Pain.
Really every movie I've seen every other movie except A Real Pain, which I hear is really freaking good.
Well,
I
Culkin
want
won.
time to watch that. But Nora's great, Challengers is great. The Substance was one of my favorites of the year, and then obviously Wicked was sick. So
Yeah,
yeah, a movie like Amelia Perez winning, it's kind of odd, but hey, whatever. Sometimes weird movies win that kind of stuff.
you're right.
But it was cool to see The Brutalist do really well. I know it was like a very like barely released movie, and it's getting a whole lot of love, which is good. And it's finally releasing in more theaters, and it literally just came out this past weekend, um, in the theater closest to me that I go to. So definitely going to catch that sometime soon. Maybe once we both see it, we can talk about it on here. But
Yeah.
I do still want to watch that, and I think that's like the front runner for a lot of the big awards at the Oscars too.
And
So
if you and I
gotta
know
check
anything
that out.
about Adrian Brody, it's just he was fantastic in that movie because we don't really see him in bad roles. He is just a very good actor and can
Everything
play.
he's always good, bro. And it was like his first movie in a while too. So
Yeah.
uh, it's cool to see him come back like that.
for sure.
With the Golden Globes, you also got TV. And definitely the biggest winner of the night was Shogun. It won like best show, best actress, best actor, supporting actor, like everything. It might have even won some more stuff. I'm over here looking at the list. But I know you hadn't watched it yet, dude. You gotta watch it. Shogun was sick. I know it came out like super early in the year last year. I think it literally like premiered in January. So it's been out about a year. But to still see it get all that love was pretty cool. You definitely got to check it out. I think you'd like it a lot.
And it being released earlier in the year, like you said, kind of makes you wonder about some movies that were not on this list, which we'll probably talk about, here in a little while, like movies we didn't see that probably should have been nominated for certain things.
You mean shows or movies?
Uh, Definitely movies. There's one I can think of that came out the beginning of this year or the early part of this year that didn't get nominated for anything at the Golden Globes.
Is it Dune Part Two?
It is Doom Part Two.
It got nominated for best score, but you know what? I'm not upset with the best score winner because that was Challengers, the score for Challengers.
That
Um, Definitely the second best score of the year behind Dune. Like the score for Challengers is sick. I still listen to it. Um, yeah.
um, I remember. I just think that like me and Cameron were watching the Golden Globes, as that one came up, and obviously Doom Part Two came up, and I was like, man, it would be awesome if Doom Part Two won. But then they announced challengers, and I was like, I'm not even mad. Like that's good. Like I do like that score. I think the one that comes to mind is I think they played it when they won, where at the end of the movie where it kind of sounds like a retro, like electronic feel when they're playing the
Yeah.
tennis match and everything. I mean, it's just great. It's
Yeah.
perfect for the movie that it's in, and I definitely agree with you. Like it's just so good. Like you can turn that on and listen to it, and it's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's really good. So I'm not even too upset that Dune didn't win, even though it's still the best score of the year, and it's a travesty that they're not letting it be nominated at the Oscars. But whatever, everyone else can know that it's the best score of the year, and that's okay. Another big winner of the night. I think for the third year in a row, Jeremy Allen White wins Best Actor in television series, musical or comedy. Jeremy Allen White is a legend. That show is so good. It just continues to shock you and everything every year. And I'm loving how consistent it is. We're getting a season a year. I feel like no shows do that anymore. You always get like 2 or 3 year gaps.
Hmm.
Um, so it's super cool to see them pumping out stuff at this high quality every year,
Hmm.
and they're just continuing to like take over awards. Um, so yeah,
Yep.
shout out Jeremy Allen White. I'm looking, not really any other massive big. Oh, okay. Didn't talk about this one. Colin Farrell in The Penguin, best performance by an actor in a limited series.
I think you and I were actually like, if one person was gonna win at the Golden Globes,
It had to be
it
him.
had to
Like
be him. And me
I
and you were
honestly didn't
rooting
know if
for
they
it.
would, but I wanted it more than anything to be him.
Yeah,
And I still think uh Christine, is it Christina or Christine? Kristen, I think. Milotti. She
Melody. Yeah,
definitely she definitely should have won, I think, but um I'm very, very happy for Colin Farrell. Deservedly so.
yeah,
He literally disappears in the role, and that's my favorite show last year. Um and I think it's probably the best like comic book movie show that we've gotten so far, outside of maybe Loki. But it's just different. It's just a different. I mean, you've watched it too. It's just a different quality. It just, it's insane. It's such a good show, and Colin Farrell is so good.
yeah, yeah, for sure. One that I wanted to bring up, and I can let you kind of talk about a little bit because I didn't end up seeing this because you saw it. I think it came out towards the end of the year, and I remember you saying that you went and saw it. But for the best animated film, I thought it was going to be The Wild Robot from everything that I've heard. And then when Flow won, I was like, oh my God, he just saw that movie.
Yeah, no, I literally saw Flow like a month ago or so. Kind of like before Christmas time, I think. Fantastic movie. If you guys do not know about Flow, you got to go check it out. It's an animated movie with literally no dialogue at all, and it's about a cat and a flood, and the cat makes some friends in a flood on a boat, and they go on a little adventure. And there's no words spoken. It's all animal sounds, and apparently, like there were all like actual animal sounds were used in the movie. The animation is the most beautiful animation that I've seen other like since Spider-Verse, like probably
Mhm.
ever. It is just breathtaking to look at. It's got a great score to go along with it because since you don't have any dialogue, like you gotta have other things carry the movie. And so you got a beautiful animation style, you got a story that's so good, and you got a good score to go along with it. So you need to check it out, and everyone else
I would
listening needs to check
definitely.
it out too. It's a great movie. I think literally anybody could like it. Kids could like it, but I think adults could like it too. Like it's very much, I wouldn't say it's a kids movie. It's just a work of art.
Hmm.
Um, very good. And I highly recommend everyone get around to that. Um, and I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about really, unless you got any more, is best performance by an actress in a musical or comedy, and that was Demi Moore for The Substance. I know you did not see The Substance, but I'm very happy um, that she won for that. I will say I did not see it coming. I think Mikey Madison for Honora is like the favorite for the Oscar, and she's already won like literally every other award. Um, and she's great in Honora as well. But I was very happy for Demi Moore. She's been doing it forever, and like her speech was really cool. Basically saying like, she never thought that she'd be able to be in a movie like this and win awards and things. She just was kind of not that type of actor. That's what she was told her whole career, and for her to come out and do a movie like this and shock the world, and it is without a doubt the wildest movie I think I've ever seen in my life. You definitely got to check it out. Um, I don't know if it's on any streaming or anything yet.
It will
It did
be.
come out. I think it came out in like October, so it'll probably be on something eventually. But love the substance. Definitely check it out. I think it was, if it wasn't in my top five, it was in my top 10 of the year. Very good movie. Shout out Demi Moore and the substance. But yeah, that's kind of our reaction to the Golden Globes.
One more.
Oscars
One
aren't
more.
for a while. What's up?
One more thing, real quick. I noticed this kind of when I was sitting there thinking about it. For cinematic and box office achievement, it went to Wicked, which I think it's. Is it wrong? Probably not. But when you had it was up against Deadpool and Wolverine and Inside Out 2. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is now the highest rated or grossing movie of all
Oh
time.
yeah, no, it is.
And then Inside Out 2 is
Was the
the
highest
high.
rating of the whole year, I
So
think.
like Wicked had good source material and it was good, but you kind of if you like the play, you were probably gonna like the movie. I think people were just kind of scared that it wasn't gonna be as good. But if you're gonna go full achievement and what Deadpool and Wolverine did, and as well as Inside Out 2 did, if you're going box office achievement, I think you probably need to go one of those for what they did.
All right.
Because I don't think Wicked, like, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it didn't make like $1 billion or anything, did it?
I don't think so, but it did come out the end of November, so
Yeah.
very well could get there. You keep talking about it. I'm gonna let him out real quick.
Yeah. So obviously, like Wicked is amazing. It was in my final top five of the year. It was fantastic. I haven't even seen the play. I don't really like musicals in general that often. But this one was great. So I'm not like clowning Wicked for anything like that. It probably should have won the category that Amelia Perez did if it was nominated for musical or comedy.
Yeah.
But I just think if you're gonna go box office achievement or cinematic achievement, you probably I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine or Inside Out 2. And that's not me like glazing Marvel or glazing Pixar. I just think like what they did was more impressive. Personally, that's
Yeah,
just
no,
my
I
opinion.
agree. I agree, but that's kind of a fake award anyway that they just added, like I think this year or last year. I mean, it's cool because I think, box office movies should still get the recognition they deserve, but
Absolutely.
yeah, it is kind of silly. Vin Diesel presented the award and walked out of there and said, "Hey,
Hey Dwayne.
Dwayne." It's pretty cool. Hopefully we get a reunion for them in the next Fast movie, but we'll have to see. But yeah, so that's Golden Globes. Oscars, I don't think are until like March or April. I think
The first weekend of March, I believe.
I think the nominations are actually this week or next. We'll know
Yeah,
the
I think you're right.
nominations, so we can talk about that
Yeah.
soon. But yeah, so that's Golden Globes. Now we're gonna get into some trailer reactions. Got a couple little trailers in this past week that I think we both thought were interesting, so I included them in here. The first one being In the Lost Lands with Dave Bautista, and I think her name's Mila. I think you say Jovovich. Mila
Yeah,
Jovovich.
I was gonna ask you the same thing.
She's the girl in all of the Resident Evils, which are pretty sick movies. I know you've probably at least seen one or two of them.
I've seen all of them.
Oh, you've seen all of them. See, I
Yeah,
haven't seen all of them,
they
but
used
I've
to
seen
be
a
on
couple.
they used to be on TNT all the time, so I
Yeah,
watch them like on TV.
yeah. And then obviously Batista's like probably the best actor to come out of, pro wrestling. Everything he's in, like I feel like he hasn't really delivered a bad performance. Looks like a fun movie. It's from the maker of Game of Thrones, George R. R. Martin. I don't know if it's another book he's written or a
Short story.
short story or
Hmm.
something. Looks kind of cool. I like fantasy stuff like that. It's probably gonna make no money at all, and it's probably gonna be a pretty horrible movie, but I'm excited for it just because I like fun, weird, different um fantasy stuff like that. So I don't know if that movie was anything kind of up your alley. It kind of like the vibes I got from the trailer were the vibes I got from the Dungeons and Dragons trailer a couple years ago. Like
Yeah,
it looked
yeah,
like it would be a great movie, but Dungeons and Dragons ended up being like really, really entertaining and
yeah.
fun. And I think kind of the same thing with this movie.
I always say like if you're doing a movie like that and your two main characters have like, chemistry that you can kind of tell is pretty good. I mean, even if the shots around it or the actors around it aren't very good, like you can make it work. I mean, do I think I'm with you? It probably will make no money. It might be a flop, but I mean, sometimes you got to go see movies that are going to make no money, and those are ones that stand
Sometimes
out to you at the end of the
surprise
year.
you. Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
And if it's based off a story of George R. R. Martin, who, like you said, wrote Game of Thrones, I mean, he's a great writer. Just go off his source material, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Just make
That
sure
was
it's
cool.
finished before you try to finish it for him.
Yeah. Let me see. I have it pulled up to see when that comes out.
It's in the winter, so I don't
Is it?
think there was a
No,
date.
it's not. March 7th.
Oh, it said this winter at the end, so I guess I didn't read the.
Huh.
Does
I
that
don't
count as
know.
winter? Is March winter? Or is that officially spring? Or does it depend on Groundhog Day?
I don't shut up. I
All
don't
right.
know. Comes out March 7th. So that's in the Lost Lands. Nothing crazy, but looks cool. Looks like a fun time. I'm sure we'll probably go watch it. And then the next big trailer that released was the second trailer for Companion. I know the first
Hmm.
trailer came out couple months ago and literally gave like nothing away. This one gives a little bit more away. It's from the same makers of Barbarian, which is like a crazy, crazy movie that I went into blind. I literally didn't even see the trailer, and then it was that, which was just awesome. It was a great, great movie. One of my favorites of the year, whatever year that was. I think it was 21 or 22.
22.
Um, so from the makers of Barbarian, it's got Jack Quaid from The Boys, and I think the girl's name is Sophie Thatcher.
Yep.
I don't know, it just kind of looks like a psychological thriller, kind of like horror comedy type movie. Uh, like I said, with the first trailer, we literally got like nothing, but with this trailer, you kind of got a little idea of what it was about. So apparently, she's like an AI bot or something, and he buys her and controls her, and then she starts figuring out that she's not real or something like that. I don't know, but the trailer looks cool, looks like a fun time, and if it's from the makers of Barbarian, like I'm in. So yeah, that comes
Yeah, I
out
like.
in a month, I think.
Yeah. I like Jack Quaid. I think he's good in everything that I've seen him in, and I haven't even watched The Boys yet. So, and I know he's a big character in that, right?
Yeah, I mean
Jack
he's
Quaid.
the main character.
Yeah. Again, I haven't watched it. Don't yell at me. But
Yeah, well,
no, it looks different. I mean, remember, like when we did, I can't even remember the name of the movie off the top of my head. Harry Styles, Florence Pugh. What's the name of that movie?
don't worry, darling.
Yeah, yeah. And this just kind of just seems like a similar movie and
That's a
kind
good
of
comp. Yeah.
yeah, like not obviously not the same movie because that one actually had a very good twist at the end in my opinion. I know that the reviews weren't great, but whatever, don't care. But I feel like this one could have a really good twist at the end where we find out something crazy that's we've been following the whole time and Jack Quaid looks the part of being absolutely like weird and
A
insane
weirdo, kind of like maybe serial killer kind of
and
vibes, you
we're
know?
gonna talk
He could
about
play it.
no.
He did it in Scream 5, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and
So
We're gonna see him in Novocaine as well, so we'll see him in another movie that should be a lot of fun.
That
So
movie looks fun too. Yeah,
yeah, so like sometimes, you know, we're not gonna know a lot off the trailer, probably off this one. This will be one that you definitely have to go see. Same thing with Don't Worry, Darling. You would have never guessed that twist
I'm
at the end. So yeah, no, I feel like it's
excited for
very
it.
interesting looking, good cast, and yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely a movie that I will be interested in
100%.
like going to see.
Yeah, looks like a fun time. Excited for that. I love a good like different kind of movie.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those were the two big trailers. Nothing like massive. But those are ones we thought were interesting, so we wanted to talk about a little bit. But we'll get into some other news that dropped this week. One of the first things I saw after we recorded the last episode was that they are making a Holes series at Disney Plus. Um, I don't really know how to feel about that because I grew up on the Holes movie, as I know you did. I've seen that movie so many times. I love it. I can quote it. Um, I mean, I think it's one of Disney's best movies ever, and it's a great book, and it holds true to the book because I've read it. Um, I don't know. I mean, it has been like over 20 years since the movie, so maybe they could put a different spin on it and make it a show. I don't necessarily love it. I don't think everything has to be remade, but I mean, Disney usually does pretty well with stuff like this and honoring the legacy of some of their older projects. So maybe it'll be good. I can't remember if it had a release date yet or not, but just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on it.
It'll be interesting to see it as a series, right? Like, it's how the Percy Jackson we saw it in the movie, and the movies or whatever, right? And the series has been really good because I guess you're able to stretch it out more. And you and I have read the books, so Disney is gonna do it with Holes, which again, I have not seen the movie as much as you have. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen that movie, but I'll tell you right now that every time I get on Disney Plus, it's right there, just calling my name. So I probably should rewatch it. I don't have many thoughts on it. I'm gonna let Disney do what they do. And
See what happens.
yeah, I mean the first one is got one of the most quotable lines in history. And it is a very like I think it's a very like heartwarming, feel good story, like at the end. Like Shia LaBeouf, right? And I haven't seen it in a while, so like maybe I'll just go rewatch it and then watch the
It's a
series
great
and
movie,
then
man. I remember I think it was like one of my brother's favorite movies, so I watched it a lot growing up.
well, it was always on Disney Channel.
I was on Disney
Always.
Channel all the time. I haven't seen it in probably 10 years, if not more, but yeah, great movie. Shout out Shia LaBeouf. Um, you know what Disney said to all the people that didn't want a Holes remake? Well, that's too damn bad.
That is too damn bad.
Disney
It's
said,
iconic,
screw y'all,
man.
we're gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, hey, look, if somebody's gonna do it, let's be honest, it probably should be Disney.
Shout out the greatest line in movie history. Another show that's I think it got announced like a year or two ago, if not more, but the Harry Potter show is gonna be releasing next year, starting in 2026, and they said that it is going to be about a 10-year series. They plan on doing the entire series and covering it all within 10 years. Um, I think you're honestly a bigger fan of the Harry Potter movies than me, so I'm curious to hear what you think on this. I also really enjoy the Harry Potter movies, just not quite as much as you. Um, but I think this could be cool, and I've heard um like really big fans of Harry Potter and the books are excited for this because um there's a lot of stuff that the movies leave out of the books. So with a full season on each book, they're going to be able to flesh out a lot of extra stuff, which is super interesting to me. They haven't cast anybody yet. We don't know who's going to be playing little Harry, Ron, and Hermione, but I guess that'll probably be announced, at least within the next couple months if they start filming soon. So I'm excited for it. Could be different. It's never going to replace like what we grew up on watching, but I think it could still be pretty good. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
So the movies I just think nailed the castings for the most part. Listening to Cameron, my wife, listening to her talk about it, who read every single book and watched all the movies, and remember seeing some of them in theaters when they came out. Listen to her talk about it and how good the castings were and everything like that. Um, I will say that they're really good. The movies are really good. Besides like a couple that I don't prefer, but obviously if you read the books, you probably would. For this one, I agree with the fact that um you're going to be able to do more details. Again, I'm going to bring up Percy Jackson again with more details that you're able to fit from the book into a series. Now, my only throwback on this is where I kind of get nervous. There are fans who are going to be very open to this idea of remaking such what because it'd be different if the movies were bad, but they're not, right? They're really good. You're kind of setting yourself up on a slippery slope where if this series isn't good and you do commit it for 10 years and the original fans who watched the movies and read the books do not like the series, it's not going to be a great thing, right? You got to nail the casting. I've heard rumors about Snape and McGonagall and
Yeah.
Dumbledore, and you have
Yep.
to nail these castings because these people have already had an image kind of associated with the book through the movies and they liked it, right? You already went one for one. You got to go two for two because if you don't nail this, it's going to be, and unfortunately, um, some people are just going to be stubborn. They're not going to watch it because they don't want to, redo it. But I think it's
Yeah.
good for the next generation to have their own Harry Potter, right?
Those poor kids though that get cast as the main three,
Oh yeah,
dude, they're gonna get so much hate. It's
I
gonna
get,
be
yeah,
like it's gonna be bad because even if they're incredible, there are gonna be people on the internet, bashing them and coming
right.
for their throats, which sucks. But that's the risk you take of stepping into a role this loved. Um, but I know they'll make the right decision. I have faith in it. Apparently, a lot of the people like in J.K. Rowling's estate are like involved in it, and I think she is too, if I'm not mistaken.
She is.
Um,
Hmm.
and I think it's a Max series, um, HBO Max. So HBO puts out good stuff more than a lot of the other streaming services. So I think it could be good. We'll just kind of have to see.
Yeah, like I said, it's like you kind of harped on it too. Like these kids are kind of already behind the eight ball, unfortunately. I think it sucks. I don't think it's right because if you're gonna remake a series for fans, I think fans need to go into it with an open mind. And
Yep.
some people liked the Percy Jackson movie. The castings is Logan Lerman and Alexandra Daddario and all that. And when the people got cast for the series, they didn't maybe love it. And now we went into it with an open mind, right? We were like, all right, let's try it out. Let's see how close it is to the books. Because that's one thing me and you did. We read these books when we were younger. And yeah, so we liked the show because it was more accurate to the books. We remember that. So and our hometown, or not our hometown, but the town we're living in right now is in the show too. So that's pretty cool in the arch. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
um
Give me a second. Yep.
but yeah, no, I think it's good for the younger generation because I know the movies aren't that old. They're really not. But we looked it up. The first one came out in 2001. That wasn't even 25 years ago. So, but you're going to have kids who are reading these books kind of, younger, 10, 11 years old
For the first
that,
time, yeah.
yeah, they want to. You're saying, all right, we're doing this for this generation. If you don't want to watch, you don't have to. But I'm going to imagine that a large group of kids new to the books, even who have already watched the movies, are still going to watch it. And then a large number of fans are still going to watch it. And I know we've probably harped on Harry Potter for a long time, but I do think highly of the movies, like really highly.
I
And
do too.
probably there's probably two in my top 20 movies that I can rewatch. So, I mean, I think very highly of them. I'm going to go into the series with an open mind, regardless of who they cast. And I'm not going to read the book. Sorry. I'm not going to sit down and read the
I'm not
books. Don't have the
either.
time for that. Um, but I will probably, I'm going to compare them to the movies, but I'm going to try my best not to.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just gonna happen, but definitely excited for it. And when they said it, they're gonna be releasing it over the next 10 years. Like I got excited for that. So hopefully they'll like, you know, obviously that's what, 7 books. Maybe the last one can be split. Some of them can be split up into a couple seasons, but
Well,
maybe we'll get a
remember,
season every year or every other year. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, so Deathly Hallows Part One. I don't know if you like that one, but that one has so much information that you're already getting in that movie, so much backstory, so much setup. That's why I think Part Two is so good. It's because Part One is setup. Now, Part One is not my favorite. I think I'm too dumb, and some of it goes over my head. So, but in a movie like that where you change it to a TV show, that might actually work out for a TV show better.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I think it could be good. Could be the right move for this type of series and story. So
Hmm.
I'm excited for it. I know you are too. Have to be on the lookout for that next year. And then our last piece of news we wanted to cover um, is apparently Rory McCann has been cast as Balin Scroll in the Star Wars shows, movies. I think Ahsoka season 2 probably is the next time we'll see him, unless he's going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We'll have to see. But yeah, and that's because unfortunately Ray Stevenson passed away right before Ahsoka season 1 came out. And let me just say, man, he was so good in that role. Balin Scroll was sick. I mean, outside of like Ahsoka and Anakin, like he was the best part of the show. He was so cool. And Ray Stevenson did a hell of a job. So RIP. But I think this is good casting. And if you guys don't know, Rory McCann is the guy that played the Hound in Game of Thrones. So I think that's a really good comp. I haven't really seen him in much other stuff, but he's incredible in Game of Thrones, and I think this is a role that he can step into and make his own and still honor what Ray Stevenson was able to do. Another quick note on Ray Stevenson that you probably didn't know. I just finished watching Black Sails, the pirate show, and he actually plays Blackbeard
Oh,
um, on
okay.
on the last. I think he's in the last 2 seasons of that show. So, um, shout out Ray Stevenson, RIP, gone too soon. But I am excited to see what Rory McCann, aka the Hound, has to bring to the table in the Star Wars universe. So,
I'll just do this real quick. I'll do it in like 30 seconds because you and I both know that I can rant about Star Wars for an hour, and we could do an hour long Star Wars podcast. Balin Scroll is one of the wins of the series that Star Wars has put out. Very interesting character. Ray Stevenson is outstanding. I mean, you're not gonna replace him. I'm sorry. But Roy McCann, I think the Hound is like an A tier character in Game of Thrones personally. So I'm gonna agree with you. I think this is a good cast. Unfortunately, we will not have Ray Stevenson, and unfortunately, I mean, I'm still glad that we get Balin Scroll because whoever wrote Balin Scroll, come on,
maybe I don't know if
you
it's Filoni or who, but yeah,
great job. He was absolutely one of the most interesting parts of Ahsoka. He's just a good character, well written. He's just so good, man. I do love him. Like you said, R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. But I do think that Roy McCann can step in. He's already a good actor, and the Hound is an A plus character. So,
yep, excited for that. Hopefully, Star Wars can kind of get back on its tracks. So, next thing I wanted to talk about briefly was I actually just got done rewatching Severance for the first time since it came out in 2022. An approach for the new season, which comes out this Thursday or Friday. Um, I know you still have not gotten around to it because you're a loser, but I sent you my Apple TV login so you can see if that will work for you and finally freaking watch it.
hey,
Because see,
to be fair, my only excuse is I did not have Apple TV. I did not have it.
that's okay, but now you do. So
Mhm.
watch it. Severance season 1, just rewatched it. I forgot. I don't know why. I forgot how good it was. It is outside of The Bear, it is like the best show of the 2020s. It is just unbelievable. I forgot how freaking awesome it was. Every episode is just incredible. Um, Sci-fi thriller. It's mysterious, but it's really funny too. Created and directed most episodes by Ben Stiller, which is wild. Um, but God, dude, it is just unreal. I don't want to give much away. Do you know the concept of it?
Yeah, isn't there in their work life separated from home life, they have their like memory wiped every day or something
Yes. Yep.
or something. Yeah,
That's
something
the
like
yeah,
that.
that's the gist of it. And dude, it had to have ended on like one of the top three biggest end of a season cliffhangers of all time, that at least that I've seen. Uh, like it ends and you're just like no. I forgot how horrible that freaking cliffhanger was. But yeah, dude, no, I'm absolutely stoked for season two. I'm definitely each week going to kind of give a little update on the episodes as they release. I really want you to crank out season one as quick as you can, so that way you can talk to me about it too, on here, because that's like the first big show coming out this year, that we can kind of talk about weekly. So hopefully we get to do that. Absolutely stoked for Severance, season two. Excited to see where they go, and I think they literally just today or yesterday, um, confirmed that they are already working on season three, which is sick.
Does that
Um,
mean you're gonna have another cliffhanger?
Probably, and it's probably going to be worse than the last one.
Yeah.
But
I will say real quick from what I've seen on Twitter, because I mean,
yeah, dude, people are saying this new season
if you don't know, if you're watching this and you haven't seen anything on Twitter, they're saying it's like one of the best seasons of television
ever,
ever.
ever. Yeah,
That's
and
big praise, man.
saying that after the first season, because I think the first season is as well.
Now, I think from the earlier reviews, Severance season 2 has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment.
It did, at least a couple days ago. It did.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, man, like that's awesome. I remember seeing the trailer for the first time before it came out and just being interested. Unfortunately, I did not have Apple TV. I still technically don't. Cole is a saint and gave me his login, and we're gonna see if it works. If it doesn't, then I guess I'm just gonna have to go over to Cole's house and binge it one day, and then go over there every week. Does it come out weekly?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
weekly. I could be wrong, but maybe the first two episodes come out the same or this week, but then it's weekly. So yeah, very excited for Severance. Apple TV, with other than some shows on like HBO, Apple TV is the best streamer for TV shows. Not necessarily movies that they do. Some of their movies are just not great, but I feel like every TV show I've watched on there has just been so enjoyable. They got Ted Lasso, Shrinking, Severance, Silo is awesome. I'm currently watching season two. I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but yeah, everything they put out on there. Blackbird's my favorite miniseries of all time. Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal. They have the best content. So I'm hoping now that you have the login that you can maybe dive into some of these shows as well.
If
They're
I,
all very good. So
even if it like even if it's only letting me be on like a tablet or a computer or something, that's enough for me. So, I like Apple TV. I agree with you from like what I've seen and what I've heard, trailers and everything. They look like they are just cranking out heaters for shows.
yep. Yeah, nah, dude, they've done it better than pretty much anybody at this point. So hopefully they keep it going and yeah, very excited for Severance. Um, so here's the fun part of the episode. Uh, we're gonna do our next movie review. Movie review time. Um, Everybody give a thumbs up if you're excited for us to talk about Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, so we're gonna be reviewing Wallace and Gromit's new movie, Vengeance Most Foul. Just came out on Netflix at the start of the new year. The reason we're doing this is we were gonna do Den of Thieves 2, but we had horrible weather this past week, so neither one of us were really able to make it to the movies to see Den of Thieves. We will definitely be talking about Den of Thieves 2 next week. We're both gonna go see it this week, so um, but this is a great, backup. Wallace and Gromit releasing on Netflix, their first movie since The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, which came out when I was a kid,
I
man.
want
I
to say it
remember
was. I looked it up. I want to say it was 05 or 06.
maybe, yeah, no, it was a long time ago. But I loved The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. My dad showed me Wallace and Gromit when I was young, so I've seen all like the little shorts that they've done. And then I think Curse of the Were-Rabbit was like the first movie. And so this is,
2005.
yeah, this is I guess the second movie. Um, it's the same creator. And it's the same like awesome animation style that we've come to see from Aardman. think they're very, very slept on and kind of overshined by Disney and Pixar, maybe like DreamWorks sometimes. But a lot of their movies are like right up there in caliber. I still think Chicken Run is like one of the best animated movies ever. It was one of my favorites growing up. I know they made a sequel on Netflix that was enjoyable. It wasn't as good as the first, but it was enjoyable. Um, they did the Pirates movie. Um, what else have they done? There's a couple other ones. Um, Early Man. They did like the Shaun the Sheep show. Um, but yeah, no, I love yeah, I love
Shaun the
the
Sheep.
I love the animation style of Wallace and Gromit, the claymation stop motion, everything. It's very, very impressive. Um, and we just got an hour and a half of it, or about 80 minutes of it on Netflix. I saw the creators talking about how like um, on a good week, like a good week of filming, they get like maybe a minute of screen time, which is just crazy. Like each second is like so many shots, and they have to go in and individually move them each time and change them out and stuff, which is just crazy. Definitely like goes to show like their passion for filmmaking and everything like that. But um, so yeah, we can just kind of dive right into it. Um, I for one had a fun time with it. I grew up on Wallace and Gromit watching those. So I was excited when it got announced like a year ago or so that they were doing another one. And it finally came out, and it was definitely a fun time. It lived up to old like typical Wallace and Gromit shenanigans, and poor Gromit just always going through it, man. He's always got it tough, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. A new fresh story, but it still brought back like their most famous villain. Like they really have that many villains, but definitely that's like the one I remember the most from when I was a kid. So, old Feathers McGraw. But yeah, I enjoyed Wallace and Gromit. The animation style is just as good as it's always been, if not better. A little more like inventive with some of their shots and stuff, and it's intense for an animated movie. Like the last like 15 minutes is kind of like wow, what's gonna happen? This is kind of crazy. So. I enjoyed it. I probably would have given it like 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. Probably about a like seven or so, because I think most Pixar movies and like DreamWorks kind of hold that upper tier um, for animation, like 4 or 5 stars, So, but 3.5 stars is still about a seven. I'll probably just give it like right at a seven. I think it's a perfect like 70 movie. Um, Fun for adults that maybe watched it like us. It's weird that calling us adults. We're still kids at heart, but uh, older individuals like ourselves, I think can have fun with it. Then obviously, like kids are gonna have fun with it too. So definitely a good movie for the whole family if you're looking for a movie on streaming. I think. And I'll swing it over to you to kind of see what you thought. Were you big on Wallace and Gromit growing up? Did you really like them?
I liked them. I remember them. I I definitely remember Curse of the Were Rabbit. It was just something that we had. So
I
I will
think I have
say,
that on DVD.
oh yeah, yeah. Um, I will say that the one thing that I wanted to get out of this movie was nostalgia, how nostalgic like these movies were. I'm with you. The animation looked as smooth as ever, looked as pretty as ever, and it's so simple, but you know how much work goes into these movies.
Literally each shot is hours of work. Like
Yeah,
each second.
yeah. So, and if one detail's messed up, man, you gotta do the shot again, and then now you have to sync it up with the audio and the comment or like the voiceover or whatever. I thought it was incredible for what Wallace and Gromit is. I mean, like it's such a simple plot, but it works so well. I don't get it. They didn't try to do too much. They kept it. It still felt like a Wallace and Gromit movie, even though it's been almost 20 years since the last one came out. They didn't try to do too much. It felt faithful to what they used to do, and to be able to do that almost 20 years later, have the same heart, have the same like comedy and actually like have intense moments and have things that you've seen before. And I don't know, man. I get like so nostalgic about stuff like that because I do think that when you realize how much work that animation takes and how long it's been, and they take a break, and you see all these other animations coming out like Spider-Man, and you talked about Flow, and we talk
Whoa.
about Pixar's evolution. We talk about all of that, and sometimes it's the simple things that work the best, and it really
Yep.
does. The voice acting sounded exactly the same.
You
Uh,
know, it was a different voice actor for Wallace.
I think I read that on Twitter before I saw the movie. And it sounded exactly the same, in my opinion. I'm with you, man. Shaun the Sheep brought up a lot of memories. I wish you didn't do that. Um, but yeah, man, I think very highly of this movie. I love animation, and like you said, we are kids at heart. I love animation, so when people do simple but effective things with animation, I'm gonna find it very, very good. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I think an 8 would be a little bit too low for me. I think I put it like an 8.3 or 8.4. I thought it was that good, that effective. And dude, you talk about 80 or 90 minutes, however long it was. It felt like 5 minutes. I just had so much fun
Yeah. Yeah,
with
no, I
that.
watched that. I was like, oh, it's over already?
Yeah, and again, bringing back a villain that just does not say a word, and it just works so well. I just
Those beady eyes, dude.
Yeah, it is hilarious. I laughed multiple times. I thought the story was intriguing for again, something so simple. It's literally so simple. And you laugh at some of the things that are happening, and jokes are just, they hit different when you're a little bit older, and you kind of realize like
Yeah.
it's, it's dumb but it's funny, and it didn't take itself too seriously either. Like it's just
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. Obviously like when they first get kidnapped by Feathers McGraw and Wallace is just like, it's just a chicken. And then he rips off his little glove. He's like, oh my God, it's Feathers McGraw.
and you're like, dude, it's just oh my gosh, and
Stupid
Gromit
stuff like
the
that.
whole time is
Yeah, dude, all of the Wallace and Gromit, like episodes or short, little short films that we've gotten from them. Gromit's just always going through it, bro. Wallace is just always clueless.
oblivious.
He's just oblivious, and Gromit just goes through hell every
Yeah.
one of them.
He's the only
He
one that
goes,
like
he
sees
goes
what's
through it
going
this
on.
time. Yeah, he goes through it this time too. So, I like how they kind of just kept with that theme. It's worked in the past, and it still worked. And bro, I mean, we can talk about spoilers. I don't think anyone's really caring about spoiling Wallace and Gromit's new movie, but at the end, when Gromit falls off that bridge, um, like into the explosion or whatever. Like my heart dropped for a second. I was like, "You better not do this to me."
It had
Obviously, they're not
been
gonna kill Gromit in Wallace and Gromit, but like the way that, like it was. I mean, it was an intense like final battle or
yeah,
whatever.
no, it
And
was.
when he falls right there at the end, and like it lingers for a second before you realize he ended up getting caught by the gnomes. But yeah, no, that was a part that stuck out to me. Like genuinely for a split second, I was like, which
Oh
is
yeah.
not something that I expected to get from a Wallace and Gromit movie in 2025. So, I mean, definitely effective there in the surprise factor. But it's cool that a movie that simplistic can even keep you on your toes. So,
Yeah, and I told you that I was gonna rank movies on name drops, how they do if they do a title drop in the movie. I have to say that this one was so freaking funny,
yep,
and it was so perfect. It's a
that
10
is
out of 10.
vengeance most foul.
It's 10 out of 10, and I don't care what anyone says. It is goofy. You're like, no way, that's hilarious, and it's perfect timing. And the pause in the middle is just hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I wanted to recapture the like I think I put in my letterbox review, I kind of put like 2 sentences or whatever just to kind of like do it. And I think I just was like, it is as charming as I remember the Wallace and Gromit movies being. It's not too much. And like you said, if they would have killed Gromit off, I would have been emailing somebody some nice words
Oh, bro, I
because
would have been flying to London or
yeah,
wherever the hell they film them.
yeah, you're not doing that to me. I can't get emotionally attached to a claymation dog as much as I have Gromit through that movie. Because you are right. That poor dog went through the 9 layers of hell just to figure out what was going on.
I'm gonna bless our viewers that are actually still watching this
Yeah.
with a picture of baby Gromit. Look at that little cutie. Look at him. He's eating his little bone birthday cake. What a champ.
So
Shout
good.
out baby Gromit.
So
Love
good.
that picture. But yeah, no, definitely a fun movie. I know we got a handful of good animated movies coming out this year, but that's a good one to start off on.
Absolutely.
Cool to see them back, still doing it. To see Aardman still kicking, despite all the major success of like Pixar and Spider-Verse movies and DreamWorks. Like, um, they're still able to do these fun, original, family-friendly uh, things. So that's cool to see, and hopefully they keep doing it. I know the Wallace original voice actor passed, but they were able to find a dude that sounded identical to him. And I think like this, still the original creator and director of the original ones. He's still like created this one, so hopefully they keep cranking them out. But yeah, we both enjoyed it. Shout out Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Hopefully it's not another 20 years till we get one, because then we will be 45. 45
You know
watching
what? They
Wallace
if
and
they
Gromit.
if they do what they did to Gromit and I'm 45
I
and my
might have a
kids
heart
have to
attack.
watch it,
It might kill me.
we're gonna have problems.
But yeah, so that's a fun little review. Next week we're definitely gonna do Den of Thieves. Um, yeah, I think it's funny. Kind of go back to the name drop thing. Our first two reviews here had like a killer name drop,
Yeah, no, for
title
real.
drop.
I'm
I don't
telling
think
you,
we're I
man.
don't think we're gonna get a title drop in Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
If we do,
We are the Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. I don't I don't know. That was stupid, but maybe we'll get some more awesome title drops this year. We'll just
we
have to
will.
see.
Dune still has one of the best ones in recent memory. So
Yeah, Dune. Yeah, Dune.
both
Yeah,
movies, both movies.
yeah. But yeah, so that's Wallace and Gromit. What other stuff have you been watching recently? Have you watched any other movies that doesn't even have to be new? Just shows, movies. You've been watching anything? You've been enjoying anything?
Yeah, we can go back and forth, kind of like what we've been going through. Me and my wife actually, uh,
My wife.
we actually rewatched all the Star Wars movies, not counting Solo and Rogue One, which I would love to. I want to rewatch Rogue One, obviously, because I think it is very good. Um, Again, we could go an hour on Star Wars. My favorite movie of all time is The Empire Strikes Back. I'm glad. So I will say this: I'm glad I rewatched some of them. I'm glad I rewatched A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, and The Force Awakens, or The Force Awakens. I'm glad I rewatched those. A New Hope is like really freaking good, and I think it's kind of overlooked because The Empire Strikes Back is so good. And if you're watching them in episode order, episode three is really, really good, right? So that one's kind of in the middle. It's a perfect like setup to everything. It's literally is perfect.
I didn't know that y'all had watched those recently.
Yeah. So again, just real quick, and I'll let you kind of go with whatever you're watching. But episode 8 and 9 had so much potential because I think episode 7 gets a little bit too much hate for being similar to episode 4. Um, Episode 7 is still a lot of fun. I don't care. I just think they swung and missed in episode 8 and 9 now that I'm rewatching them. And
8 is not a swing and a miss. Maybe you can say it for 9. 8
so
is
the
sick, bro.
and this is we're not going to do a whole debate. I'll just give you my one reason is some of the things that happened in 8 that would have been good to like continue on. We just dismissed it in 9. We didn't come back to it. So look, I think that they still visually look awesome. I love the fight in episode 9 where Ray and Kylo are in the water planet, whatever. I love that lightsaber fight because it's uncoordinated and like not perfect, but that makes sense because they weren't trained, right? So yeah, no, I rewatch all Star Wars. I love Star Wars. It is my favorite series. It is my favorite franchise of all time. You know that about me. So seeing her rewatch them was fun because I think she's only seen all of them, like all the way through like that once. So it was fun.
Very nice. My wife.
My wife.
I need to go back and watch them. I haven't watched them in forever. I honestly don't think I've seen episode 9 since we saw it in theaters, and that was what, 2019?
I will say that I got goosebumps at the end when all the ships came down again. That scene is
It's
sick.
yeah, that's
Don't
so sick.
care.
I don't care what you say about that movie. Yeah, the ending's sick. Um, so yeah, what have I been watching? I said earlier I rewatched Severance season 1. I cranked it out in like 2 sittings. Dude, you got to watch it. Please, please watch it so we can talk about this every week. But 10 out of 10 show. Pumped for season 2. I actually also started season 2 of Silo. I'm only 2 episodes in. It's another sci-fi show on um, Apple TV, and season 1 came out like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it's one of the best seasons of like a sci-fi show that I think I've ever seen. I enjoyed it so much that I read the book that it was based on. I listened to it as
Oh,
an audiobook because it also ended on a crazy cliffhanger, similar to Severance, like a pretty big cliffhanger, and I was like, I have to know. See, with Severance, it's not based on a book, so I couldn't go listen to a book to see what happened.
right.
But yeah, Silo is a part of a um, it's a book trilogy, and the book is called Wool, like Wool.
Hmm.
It's the Wool trilogy, but I can't remember what the next 2 books are. But I read the first one, and I think they're saying that season 2 of Silo is going to kind of catch up to the end of book 1, and
Oh,
they've
okay.
already announced season 3 and 4 for it.
That
Uh,
would be the second book, probably.
yeah, second book, and then hopefully
Nice.
they make it a third. It's got Rebecca Ferguson and Common, Tim Robbins, just much older because the only movie I've ever seen him in that I can think of is Shawshank. But
Yeah.
nah, Silo's sick. I'm only 2 episodes in, kind of a slow start right now, but I think it'll get a lot better. Um, so yeah, those are my shows I've been watching. What movies did I watch? So I rewatched Den of Thieves, as I know you also watched Den of Thieves recently to get ready
Yeah.
for the new one. I
First time.
enjoyed it. I know it was your first watch. I hadn't seen it in a couple years. Um, I do kind of agree with what you told me. You said, it's kind of slow up until like the last 45 minutes to an hour. It is a lot of like build up and stuff, but I still enjoy some of it, and I think it's funny and entertaining to see all that. And then the twist at the end is um, still super cool,
Yeah.
kind of original.
And the gunfight feels real, in my
The
opinion.
gunfight, yeah, the gunfight's so good at the end, there at the end. So, um, I enjoyed Den of Thieves. I'm excited for the new one. I've heard it's pretty good. Like everyone has said, if you like the first one, then you're gonna like the new one. So that's good to hear. Um, I got my letterbox pulled up right here. I'm trying to see. Oh, I went and saw Mufasa.
Oh, yeah.
I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed Mufasa. I did not expect to really care about it that much, but I really enjoyed it. Um, I can speak for both of us when I say that like the Lion King remake was disappointing.
I,
Uh,
I love the original so much that, like, you were never going to save it for me.
yeah.
So,
Um, it had a lot of hype. We were all excited for it, and then it was just like I don't know. I don't know if it was. I mean, it's gorgeous to look at, but like it looked like they almost had like no emotion and stuff.
and
They just had bland faces
yeah, no.
during all these incredible, like iconic emotional parts. And I will say the animation, definitely they stepped it up.
Nice.
Um, to kind of show a little more emotion on the animals' faces and stuff. Um, I personally enjoyed this one a lot more than the one that came out, a couple years ago. Really, really good cast, got some good music, and it's an original story, I think. I don't think they've ever told Mufasa's
No,
story
they have not.
in
Yeah, you're
animation,
right.
so it's a story you hadn't heard before, so you didn't know what was coming. Obviously, like he becomes king, but like it's a bit how did he get to that point? How did Scar become Scar? Really good. I know you'd like it because you like Disney and stuff, and it's a good original story. So, um,
I
yeah,
just I guess when like the trailer came out, it wasn't one that I was super excited for because but now hearing you talk about it, I just didn't think it was a story that really needed to be told, especially
yeah.
in the live action aspect. But hey man, if you like it, I'll give it a shot when it
No,
comes
I
out on
really, really enjoyed it. I
Disney
think it's a
Plus.
lot better than the first one. Um, so. Yeah, and I think that's the last. That's really the only other thing I watched. Did you get anything else in? Any shows or any other movies?
Um, besides what I was forced to watch, obviously you know what we not we've been watching, but it has been on in the background. You know. It's
Oh, we've been watching some playoff football.
that could be a whole nother podcast, right? Yeah, so I'm trying to think of movies that I've logged off the top of my head. I don't feel like bringing it up. Oh, I did rewatch all the I'm trying to rewatch the Infinity Saga in the MCU. We watched we watched the first Avengers and we watched Iron Man 3, but then we get to a top 5 MCU movie in my opinion with The Winter Soldier. I think it is just you go back, I mean, I miss it, man. I miss it. We talked about the MCU a little bit tonight. And then trying to think what else. Show wise, I will say that um I just I got to be better about watching shows. So hopefully I can, finish what I already have out, which we're not going to say on this podcast, obviously. But
Mm.
anyways, you and I both
Mm.
know. But being able to finish that, I want to start Severance because I've already heard great things. I really, really, really want to start The Boys and go through The Boys. I've just heard amazing things about that. I would love to give that a chance as well. So no, I'm going to be watching a lot more. Like you said, we're going to see Den of Thieves 2 this week. And, we got some, not like, I'm not going to say like blockbusters or anything coming up until really the Captain America movie. But I think there could be low key sleepers. We talked about Companion. We talked about that one with Stephen Yeun. No, yeah, Stephen Yeun and Kristen Stewart.
The love story between the buoy and the satellite.
That'll be on there. And
I'm definitely gonna go
unfortunately,
watch that. I don't care.
yeah. What else am I missing in the month of June? Oh, Wolfman
Yeah,
apparently
apparently
has
Wolfman's pretty
good
cool.
first reviews.
Yep.
So, we'll be watching some new movies. We're gonna have kind of random reviews probably,
Paddington 3.
Paddington 3.
I still gotta watch 2.
If you don't know the lore behind Paddington, go watch what's the freaking name of it?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive
Yeah,
Talent,
go
which
watch that.
actually it actually comes out on Netflix this Friday. I
There
saw
you
that.
go. Go watch that this Friday, and then you will understand the lore because it is absolutely hilarious.
Yep.
Probably one of the most
One of the funniest line drops like ever.
underrated funny movies that we don't really talk about because that movie's hilarious.
Yeah,
But
no.
anyways, yeah, we got new movies coming up too. Again, I'm gonna be on my grind watching shows because I want to be able to like when you're talking about a show, be able to like watch it with you and kind of react with you too. So
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
Um, no, I'm trying to think of some upcoming stuff. Other than those movies you said, yeah, it's kind of a slow start to the year for movies, but it's good that we're getting Severance early, and then I know that Daredevil starts like week 1 of March, I think. That's actually on my to-do list. After I finish season 2 of Silo, I'm going to rewatch.
Watch Daredevil.
I'm gonna rewatch all 3 seasons of Daredevil, and may if I have time, like maybe even the Punisher seasons. Um, I I know I said earlier that I think the Penguin is the best comic book movie show. I think I was mistaken there because I think it's Daredevil. The Penguin is the best one in you know,
Daredevil's great. I will agree with you.
recent
Daredevil's
years.
great.
It's been a
Punisher's
while since we saw Daredevil, the show. So I think Daredevil, all 3 seasons are top tier comic book movie fun. Like,
also same actor is such a dub. Like they
yeah,
get the same guy.
Charlie Cox is so cool. They're getting John Bernthal back. Um,
Perfect Punisher, by the way. Perfect Frank
yeah, they're
Castle.
bringing back Foggy Nelson and what's her name? Karen Page.
That sounds right. No,
I think so. Hold up.
but
Yeah, Karen Page.
going off that, I think what's our first big review of the year will probably be Captain America,
Yeah.
or is there one before that? That
I'm looking at the list right here. Not really. Well, Den of Thieves, and then maybe like Wolfman. Yeah, and
so
then
like
Pat.
the reviews you're probably gonna get right now are gonna be us like we love movies, but like sometimes we gotta go on a Tuesday because it fits our schedule because it's $5 and that's sick. But like for Captain America, like we'll go see it Thursday/Friday/Saturday.
Yeah, we'll
So
get
that
those pods
way,
out.
the
We'll
same
get those
weekend
pods
you'll
out
have it.
literally like the next day.
Yep.
For bigger movies like Cap.
Yep.
What else? Like Thunderbolts.
You'll have Mission Impossible the
I
same
was about to say
weekend.
maybe I can get your ass to go see Mission Impossible.
But like Avatar, Superman,
Yeah.
Fantastic
We'll
Four.
be those. We'll be to those earliest showings that we can for stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
But yeah, that's all I got for this episode though.
yeah, yeah. No, we covered some good stuff. We'll see. We'll see what happens this week. Well, I know we'll both crank out Den of Thieves. Uh, Come back. I think that's like the first, real big release of the year. That we'll talk about. Um, So yeah, excited for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the second episode. We really enjoyed doing this and getting to talk about this stuff and kind of deep dive into all the news and trailers and things like that. So hope y'all have all enjoyed. Like I said earlier, leave a comment about maybe movies you want us to talk about or news or anything movie TV related. We're down to do.
Or if we do a review and you want to drop your score that you think the movie is, maybe you
Yeah,
don't agree with us, maybe you agree with us, like let us know down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, comment, helps grow our channel. We have a TikTok now, Frontline Film, all lowercase.
I need to follow it.
Yeah, you can go check it out. First TikTok went live when y'all are seeing this yesterday. We have YouTube Shorts as well, so if you want to be caught up, we have clips from that. And then, of course, if you've noticed on the YouTube, we're doing like short form. We're not only doing the long podcast. If you just want to watch a segment, you can watch that there too. But yeah, Twitter as well. We have our Twitters, we have our letterboxes. Go follow all of that. And yeah, man, like engage with us. We always love engaging back, and I love hearing all of y'all's like thoughts about movies, movie news, all of that. I want to be able to respond. So go do that, man.
Yeah. So thank you guys all for watching, listening, whatever you may do, and we will be back next Monday with Den of Thieves 2.
Yep. Thanks,
Peace.
guys.